Yeah, I must have signed it, I did something
Is
wrong.
that you there, that number?
Yeah, they're both me, I'm the host and
All right.
here, I believe.
Now, do you have a camera on yours?
Join. Jim, how are you?
Good.
Start video.
And your new hairdo for the last day, huh?
Yeah, it was time to get a haircut.
Yeah, good for
A
you.
little dark, but we'll live with it.
So you don't have a camera, right?
There's no camera.
Okay.
No.
Our last park meeting.
My last meeting.
Good to see you.
You too. How have you been?
Good.
Good. What we want?
Reading books.
Stay healthy. Reading books, yeah. What are you reading now?
Fowler. Ken Fowler.
Alright.
About the Vikings in England.
Oh, I know I like to watch all the shows with the Vikings and everything like that, so. Cool. Give you an agenda, I guess. Nothing exciting.
Now, we're here, that's the big thing.
That's true. We are
Really?
here. We are
That's gonna be our
here.
message for tonight. We gotta keep meeting, if we don't keep meeting, we'll lose.
Well, then yeah, I agree.
You lose your continuity as a group,
Yeah,
then you have nothing.
I agree.
So for members right now, it's just me and Jim?
Yes.
Oh, we can't have, or we can't do anything then, can we?
You could have a discussion, well,
We can wait.
you can wait a little bit.
Wait about
Oh, there's
5
Jake.
minutes
Jake's
anyway.
here.
Okay.
Good should be here.
Yep, he's here. I gotta get a pad of paper, sorry. Yeah, I'll get one. You need that? I can get one over here.
You can have this, I'll just take that first page off. Good to go.
Thank you.
Hi, Jake.
Everybody, what's going on, Cindy?
Are
Hi,
you
Jake.
driving this time?
Evening, Jake.
No, I'm home.
Oh, good.
Hey,
So,
coach. There, I can turn on my
There-
camera and say hi.
there, you look
Here
like,
we go.
you look like some. Marilyn, did you hear from Scott or?
No, Paul, no.
So I guess it's up to you guys if you want to wait a couple more
So what are we
minutes.
short?
It's just me, you, and Mr. Fassel.
You've got 3, so you're all set. And Jack Marino from iBerkshires is also with us.
And you have, is Mr. Tober with
Yes,
you?
Robert's here, yes.
Okay. All right, I gotta find that handy dandy thing. Okay, so, so it is, let's see, what time is it? 6:03, I'll call the meeting to order.
Yeah.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the governor's March 15th and July 2nd, 2020 orders imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Town of Adams Parks Commission is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort has been made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. Attending remotely are myself, Cindy Bird, Jake Schutz, Jim Fassel.
No, I'm here. I'm present.
Right,
I'm not remote.
right. With Robert Tober from the DPW, Marilyn Colas, the DPW secretary, and Jack Reno from iBerkshires. We have posted today's agenda in accordance with open meeting law, which included the call-in information for the meeting. Despite our best efforts, if we are not able to provide for real-time access for the public to participate in today's meeting, a recording of this meeting can be made available by request, as this meeting is being recorded using the Zoom platform. As we are participating remotely, please note that all votes taken during this meeting will be by a roll call vote. I will state the member's name and ask for their vote for each vote necessary today. Okay, go back to the agenda. Okay, so the approval of the minutes, Jake and Mr. Fassel, were you able to read the August 24th, the September 14th, and the October 5th minutes?
I did not.
I believe, Marilyn, I assume you have a copy of those there?
I can get him a copy if you want to go back to that.
That's fine.
Okay.
I did just look over them, so I found a couple of things that I didn't see on the agenda, so I just wanted to address.
Okay.
So I guess do you want to hold on the approval of the minutes? So should we go to old business then?
Yeah, why don't you we can do the approval of the minutes last.
Okay. So old business as written in the agenda says Russell Field updates as of 11/4/20. Fitness equipment is scheduled to be shipped the week of November 9th. Completion of the infield and seating around the infield will happen at the same week, as well as tennis court posts. So now this is December 14th, so the fitness equipment, I assume it was shipped?
Robert, can you answer that?
I'm not sure about the fitness equipment because I wasn't here that week.
I think they were installed. I do remember speaking with Steve and that they were beginning to install some of it.
Jim, you saw something over there. You saw them install.
I just saw the child
the child's stuff.
child equipment being imported.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we're talking about the completion of the infield and seating around the infield was supposed to happen, one of the things that I noticed was from the previous minutes, Mr. Tober had an issue with the infield material. We had just had a significant storm, and he was concerned about how wet the infield material was. When you stepped in it, your foot sunk, and there were stones in the infield, and he was concerned about that. And I believe it said it was going to be looked at. So do you know how that went?
Yeah, my discussion there was that they couldn't finish what they had to do. They wanted to compact it still, and they couldn't do that, so they were gonna put that off till, the spring at this point.
Okay, and by compacting it, that was gonna fix the issue with the material?
Well, that's what they were implying. I can't say that that's specifically what they were saying, but, they weren't done with the infield yet, is what it came down to, so.
Okay,
That was their response, and it infers that, the compaction would make a difference, but we have yet to see. They assured that, they would make it right. They just couldn't finish it yet, so it'll be the spring at this point.
okay. So then I guess that brings up my next question where it said that the project was supposed to be completed by October.
Well, the payment, I think, extends into the spring, so even
Okay.
though some of the aspects of the projects will be done, full payment will not be, done until later, so.
Okay. Well, okay, the payment part, I didn't, that's not what I was really concerned about. It's more the project itself. I think I read in the previous minutes that they said that they would be done by October. But as I'm reading, the fitness equipment wasn't coming in until the 9th, and the infield and that stuff wasn't gonna be done yet. I've driven by the field and it does look beautiful. But I'm just going by the previous minutes that we had and statements that were made in the minutes. So,
Yeah.
So the thought process then is, our concern is going to be spring for like the youth softball, the high school softball, pending if there's going to be a season and stuff. So I guess I'm really going to be concerned about are they done working for the rest of this year now because of the ground being so cold, or are they going to continue working until there's snow?
Well, I think they can continue with the assembly of the fitness equipment and that part, but as far as groundwork, they won't be able to continue there.
And then I assume that they would, is there a time frame that we request them to be back in the spring?
Yeah, I mean, they said they would continue in the spring, so whatever had to be done as far as the infield is concerned, that'll be picked up then. And whatever else they don't finish.
Right, okay, but we won't be able to give any answers to any youth leagues about, or even like the tennis and that kind of stuff, of anybody of youth of the field?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
Cindy, I guess I would guess have a more direct follow-up question then would be, in the proposal, were there any stipulations or timeframes built in to the proposal that there are that they're following, or are they just is it just carte blanche, do it when they get to it? So what kind of time frame can we expect to give the folks that use those fields?
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the contract what the date was, so I'm not sure.
Okay,
But,
I would suggest that, that I think that would be the consensus of a board.
Yes.
That it would be worth looking into to see what was actually originally put in the contract and the proposal as far as the time frame goes.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, things have been delayed obviously because of the ordering, so.
Right.
In terms of the lead time, so.
No, I get it, and maybe there was no specific time frame in there, and that would be on us, but it's just worth looking into, I think.
Okay, I'll check with community development and get that answer.
Thank you.
Cindy,
Yes.
So here, a couple of things have happened. Number one, as far as the infield, there was a concern about its drainage and possibility of using, mason sand to make it more porous.
Okay,
They did some, they put some in, but they have not, I don't think they've addressed that situation. So when people start asking whether they can use it or not in the spring, we've got to be very cautious and get this done right and have the softball season maybe not be on that field in the spring. I've been up to the high school and they have redone the infield of the high school softball. They did a good job with it. And so they have the ability to run a practice and probably games at the high school. So you've got that as a backup. But
okay,
we should be sure that we get the infield done right rather than in a hurry,
I agree.
okay?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I'm just looking for, since we didn't have a meeting last month, I'm just looking for, just updates and stuff like that. And, Jake actually worded that question well for me.
You know they're gonna wait till May 1st and then wanna play everything down there. And, we've gotta tell them that they have to be patient again, 'cause when they finish doing the infield, I don't think they'll be back once we sign that in the dotted line. So we gotta make sure we don't sign till it's done right.
Right. And it's all contingent on what's going to happen. I mean, we don't even have a basketball season yet. So it depends on, COVID and things like that. But I don't want to be in February getting the field requests or March and getting the field requests and not having some kind of an answer. I kind of want to be ahead of it rather than, since we only meet once a month. So I just want to keep updating and finding out what's going on, the progress of, the Russell Field and how it's gone so far.
And I wanna say you're right on.
Okay, thank you. One of the other issues, I believe it was Mr. Tober, had issues, or there was a legal issue with the playground abutting somebody's property. Do we know where that is? The status of that?
That was Duquette.
Yeah, no, the last discussion I had with, the town administrator, it was still being discussed with our legal counsel, and I had no updates on that.
Okay. What property is is it the woods right there? That's the abutting property?
Yeah, yes, that's owned by, somebody in town.
Oh. And they're just now bringing it up, or because things are changing on it, they're bringing it up?
Yeah, because things are changing.
Oh. But I assume that there's things are getting put in the same place.
Yeah, nothing's been changed in
Okay.
terms of where things are going, so
Okay.
it's just a potential litigation there, but, I don't have an update for you on that. It's still being discussed. It's with council.
Okay. And according to the agenda, it says the fence contractor is scheduled to be back on site. Did they come back? Is the fence all set?
I'm not sure about that one. I haven't been, you know, I was out, the prior week, and last week I was in training, so I haven't been down there for 2 weeks. Do you know
Okay.
anything?
I think that Robert we ought to give a list of your concerns, Cindy, and then Robert ought to, talk to Becky. Becky Ferguson knows what that status is.
Right.
You have to go to her, so we give Robert a list, and normally we would have Marilyn, but she's going to be in the happy hunting ground there, so.
Exactly. Well, honestly, I'm only going off of the agenda. So these are all, and I'm going back through the minutes and I'm going through the agenda. So I'm only pulling things that we've already discussed, and we didn't have a meeting last month. So I guess if you want, I can specify and pull things out and make a list to give to Mr. Tober to try to find out.
I can go on this list here. I just,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, I haven't been here basically for 2 weeks. I was on vacation, and then last week I was in training. So, as far as the fence contractor, I mean, I haven't been down there in the last 2 weeks. Prior to that, I mean, the fences look good, or the tennis courts were done, the backstop. I know some of that was done. I don't know if the full thing was completed, so.
Okay, yeah, because this is actually saying these are the updates as of 11/4. So,
Right, then that's what Becky had given me,
okay.
as of 11/4.
As far as the electrical, in previous minutes, it said that the green initiative was denied. So I guess we have to look at some other ways to get lights, and the LEDs are too costly. So
Or isn't the town going ahead and doing the lights,
Yeah,
Robert?
the last discussion we had was that we could find the funds to do that. It wasn't going to be an issue in terms of being able to fund that. Where that money was coming from, I'm not sure, but that was the feeling, that it was not going to stop the lights from being.
And we should keep on with the LED function. They're much, we're gonna modernize, let's modernize. You know, I said, let's save money, but what's the sense of saving money if we do it once, and now we've got another 10 to 20 years of the LEDs before we come back to it.
You can reduce the cost with the LEDs and the number of lights that you need. It was also discussed too that with the LEDs, you could focus the lights more, and that there wouldn't be as much residual light around the area. So some people complain about, you know, the lights lighting up their houses. They have problems sleeping. The LEDs can help control all of these situations.
I agree, you know.
And you could actually light up that field with less fields, which means we may not need all the poles that we have there for the lights. We could actually reduce that also.
So I believe that there was a couple of different things. I feel like the issue with the money that we needed, where they wanted the change of order for the 95,000, I feel like that had to do with the conduits or something. Because when I look back at other minutes in September, it said we needed to look for funding. And then or that was August. And then in September, the minutes talk about the LEDs come with a large price tag. And the green initiative request for lights was not approved. So we might have to look into private funding and fundraisers. And then I guess I'd have to look and see what October minutes now say. So I know that when we talked about the $95,000, then at the next meeting, Mr. Tober said, or Marilyn reported that Jay Green said that he found a pocket of money that would pay for something, but I don't know,
That price tag of 95,000 was replaced. They came up with another price, so that was out of the picture. They were able
Okay.
to get a price. Again, I don't know exactly what that was. I don't recall, but
Yeah.
they did not have to pay that 95,000. So
okay. Because I'm looking in October minutes and I don't see anything about oh, we just talked about the light poles, the light poles. And the conduit is being run underground. So, so I guess we're gonna need an update on the lights, and if we're gonna have to, are we getting LEDs? Are we looking at something else? Who's gonna be in charge of looking into that, and where are we gonna get the funds, and who's gonna talk about that? Because I'd hate to have a nice park, and then just leave it there and drop the ball on not having lights when we're used to lights and stuff.
I believe that job remains with Robert.
yeah, I'll check with Becky Ferguson to see where we stand on the lights, because LED lights, you know, that's a separate issue than the conduit.
Right. And then the other thing, Steve Scrocky noted, which we all know, that we need a new box for the scoreboard. So I know that in a previous meeting, we had talked about, I know that we have almost $3,000 in, an extra fund, call it a rainy day fund or whatever, and we had just received $100 from the Baseball Adult League. And I know that we had talked about possibly giving money to the other softball league to install a scoreboard over at Reed. So I didn't know if that would be something that, say I guess reach out to the Lassie League if they wanted to put in to request monies for a box for the scoreboard, since that's really only used by the youth league and the high school league. It's not used by other leagues, so it's not like it would be a community thing. So I'm not sure how we would go about that. But again, it's a scoreboard that's in good working condition, and I just don't know. I don't think that obviously the scoreboard came in the grant monies for redoing Russell Field.
I had contacted just one company that I deal with to see if she could, get us a scoreboard, and, I mean, not a scoreboard, the controller. The
Yep.
scoreboard is so old. She said, no, the company's not even in business anymore, so she gave me an estimate of $4,000 for a particular scoreboard, just as a ballpark figure.
Oh,
I don't think it's gonna be tough finding a controller for that scoreboard.
I feel like Corey Bishop must have looked into the company, or even my husband, because my husband's the one that was involved with the purchasing of that scoreboard when he was president of the league. And I thought that they had found something for like $500 or $600.
So it'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great.
It'd be great. Like she researched the board and.
The whole board, yeah. But I think they looked into.
Sorry, the controller. She researched the controller, and then
Okay.
I said, give me a price on a scoreboard if you can't find anything. But
Okay.
done a lot of research for me in the past on playground equipment. But so she wasn't able. That's just one company. So maybe somebody.
Okay.
else.
Okay. So those are the notes that I pulled out, to go over from the previous minutes and the, old business from this agenda. I'm not sure if Mr. Fassel had a chance to look through while we were talking, stalling. Or Jake, if you were able to look at the minutes from the 3 previous meetings.
Yeah, I saw them. I don't, I didn't bring up anything else for me. But I'm ready to approve if that's what you're looking for.
And I'm all set. I was able to skim the minutes while we've been discussing other things, and I'm all set that the minutes are in good order and would move to approve them when you wanted to bring it to a vote.
I'm ready to bring it to a vote. I guess I just want to make sure that that Mr. Tober now has a nice, concise list that he's going to go back to Becky with, just so that we make sure that we bring it forward, because unfortunately we're going to be losing our very helpful secretary who's going to keep all of these, keep us all in order. So I don't know if Marilyn, if you could pull some of these things out. Obviously you're recording for the meeting, so.
I'll get a list. I'll get
Okay.
the minutes before I leave.
And Cindy, what I'd like to do as far as the scoreboards are concerned, we have two requests, one for the Russell Field and one for Reed Field. I think we should bring that issue up to the softball leagues and see, and take their input first before we go making the decision later on.
Oh,
Three times
absolutely.
A lot of money, but it's between the 2 scoreboards, it's going to be more unless the softball leagues can come up with a shortcut. So
Yeah.
I'd postpone
I
that.
think, yeah, that's fine. I think that the Reed Field, they already had a scoreboard that was donated by MCLA, and they just needed help with the wiring, I believed. They wanted to, I think they needed somebody to do the wiring so they could get it from so they could hook up the box. We already have it at Russell Field. The scoreboard is already there. We would just need the controller. So it's sort of the same thing, but it might be just different price tags. And I don't necessarily want to make a decision on what to get anybody, but I just want my suggestion would be to be able to utilize that almost $3,000 towards helping them, get those things in order.
I would like to wait till the people come for a use of the field, and at that time, pick their brains of how they can help us, and then we can complement that from our funds, rather than us go with the funds that we have and draining them before we know. We might find out they might be able to find a good scoreboard much cheaper than we can come up with. So
Okay.
that's my feeling.
And why I brought up the whole timeline of the project was so that we don't have to wait for them to think that they need to come to us to ask for field usage if the fields aren't going to be used.
Right.
I want to kind of, gentleman's agreement with them and let them know, sorry, but Russell Field's not going to be used, and we're going to have to go back to what we were planning on doing in the spring of 2020, which ended up being like we were going to be able to use the field because they hadn't started anything yet. So that wasn't going to be an issue. However, if the construction is still going on with the renovation of the field, then both of those leagues are going to, plus the high school is going to have to figure something out. And I don't want to get into, because these teams get these schedules out, so I don't want to have to get to March and have them not have a plan in place. That's why I was trying to get a timeline, and I'd like to be able to, just come to them and say, hey, guess what? Because unfortunately, I'm in the school, so they are calling me. And my daughter plays softball, so the coach is calling me. That's what happened last year.
I think we ought to be cautious about using Russell Field in the spring. That's my feeling.
Okay. So I'm not gonna, so then that feeds into, you want them to wait to do the field request before we address the scoreboard issue. So that's fine if that's what we're all gonna decide to do. But then it's gonna be, the season's gonna start and they won't have anything for this year.
I think we should pick their minds, what they can come up with before we make a decision. I don't think we should make a decision now when behind the scenes they're gonna do it. Like we make it and Reed, they wanted money and now all of a sudden they don't. Maybe they can do that with Russell also. That's just my feeling. I'm willing to shoot all that 3,000 into Russell, but somebody else is gonna come up afterward and say, now what about this?
Right. Well, no, but I get what you're saying. My thought process was to be able to give some to each. And since they, ACS went and got the donation of the scoreboard, which is a huge, donation and undertaking, they were going to have their own, how all of these sports leagues are. The dads and the mom, they all know people and everybody is willing to do so much, but they needed extra help with the electrical. In our case at Russell Field, the box went missing. So Russell Field had a working scoreboard and box controller, but it went missing for unknown reasons. And so they would just need the extra box. And, the 4,000 that Marilyn found out, that's pretty steep. And obviously, I would hate to have the leagues try to fundraise for things like that if there is some monies that can be donated, whether it's only $250 to each league and here, this is what you can do with it. But if it's going to wait, if we're just going to sit back and wait for them to come to us, that's fine. If that's what if everybody wants to do it that way, that's fine. So it'll probably be, I would think, February. But again, people need to plan for the spring sports. So you've got, lacrosse, that's going to be probably at the high school. You've got the high school softball, you've got baseball, if all of these things are happening. And so people are going to have to start planning. So they're going to come to us. So I just want some kind of a timeline or something. And if we all agree that Russell shouldn't be used this spring, that's fine. But I think that there needs to be a plan in place. 2 years ago, I tried to start something to have all of the leagues get together to find out where they were going to go to play, because we all knew that this was going to be happening at Russell.
Jake, do you have any suggestions?
No, I'm trying to think of the best timeline, a recommendation for a timeline in my head. Because I hear what Cindy's saying, and I agree with her. So do we want to invite, do we want to have a working meeting, a working group meeting where we invite folks to, or do we just want to send a message out to everybody, making them aware of the potential, issues in the spring?
Why don't we have in our next meeting a sort of workshop on the needs for spring and invite the people from both softball leagues to come and give their input. Therefore, we're doing it early, and then we can make a firm decision afterwards. And if we do it in February, or, do it as February, then we'll have plenty of time to warn them what our decision is.
Right. And Cindy, you're talking about two separate things, right? It's the 3,000 and when and how we spend that. And then
That's exactly it.
it's the field usage based
And that
off
would
of
be,
how
Yes, Jake, yes, the
So
money,
how would-
the $3,000 for the money to be used for the leagues, but then I didn't want them to come to us for field usage in February or March and say, and then have them ask when, I feel like there needs to be, which there was supposed to be 2 years ago, workshop meetings with all of the AD and the high school softball coach, and the leagues were all supposed to get together so that they could discuss where they were going to be playing, because it was going to be huge impact on, like the high school, where the Hoosick Valley girls were going to end up playing their home games, kind of a
Right.
thing. I don't know anything about the field being redone up at Hoosick. I have not heard anything. I talked to Keith. I'll talk to him tomorrow. But again, I mean, it is a waiting game because, we're waiting on basketball right now. So it depends on what's going to happen in the spring and what, COVID does and what the schools are going to do and where the schools are going to be remote or hybrid or what they're going to be doing. And I get all that, but since we only meet once, now this is December, if we meet and discuss a workshop in January and invite them to come to February, then we're already talking March. And that's when they start. Tryouts for softball are right after St. Patrick's Day.
how does
So
how does the money I think I got lost a little bit. So how does the money with the 3,000 relate to, so are you saying if we don't buy a new box soon enough, they might, if they end up using that field, they're going to be stuck without a scoreboard?
correct.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't want them to come for field use and then we tell them at that meeting, at the field use meeting, oh,
By the way,
by the way, we have this money if you want to request, or however we do it. And then we start making the orders, and then it doesn't get done, and then they don't have. So Reed Field, they still don't have. I mean, it's not going to be something that they didn't do for the past couple years. Russell Field didn't have a box for a couple of years, and Reed Field hasn't had a scoreboard in, I don't know how many years, a decade, I guess. But I want us to be friendly, personable,
Right.
board here so that.
does this go on the list for the director that we were just talking about, and see if he can follow up some way somehow about specifics with scoreboards and electronics? I mean, I would say that's part of the infrastructure on a whole. We're talking about lights and bases and infields. I would say scoreboards are part of that.
Yeah, if you'd like me to look into that, I'd be happy to do it. My only suggestion here is, the experience that we've had too, if we go and order anything, if somebody wants to donate, always include the disclaimer that it's, subject to lead times. It's taking us 2 months to get light poles and for some of the poles broken here in Park Street. And if we decide to get a scoreboard or a control box, even if you do it now, the lead time on some of these products are taking months. Just keep that in mind. But I'll be happy to do some research on the scoreboard.
Cindy, being
Yes.
the chairman, could you take that ball and run with it concerning the scoreboards? Because it sounds like you have a first-hand knowledge of what people have done, and like the ACS has almost eliminated their problem with the scoreboard privately, that you would be able to cut corners and maybe come to answers on both of them.
I'm more than happy to do that. Yes, yes. I'm more than happy to check into the both leagues and see, number one, what Corey and my husband found out about the box price and that stuff. And I'm more than happy to reach out to Lou Mosier for the ACS to find out where they're at with their scoreboard. And that's exactly why I was asking all of these questions, for what Mr. Tober just said, was the lead time and not getting things done because of everything that, hold up on delivery and all of that kind of stuff. And this is why I want to make sure that we have something to give somebody, even if we don't have, a season this year for them to all play. It'll be a shame, but if we can give them a light at the end of the tunnel, then, then they can have something to look forward to. So I will be more than happy to check in to the both leagues about their issues and their needs for their scoreboards.
Good.
Okay. So with that all being said, is there a motion to accept the minutes from August 24th, 2020, September 14, 2020, and October 5th, 2020? Do I have to do it each one separate, or?
No, I'll move to accept them all as written in a batch.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
All in favor would be myself? Yes.
No, it's us two. Don't let us out. Yes.
So it has, so
Yeah.
even though you guys motioned it and seconded it.
Take
you-
that vote.
He did say yes.
Did he say I'm losing it?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda would be new business. Doesn't look like there is any. I do have something that was brought to my attention. I don't know if this is where I can add it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You're the chairman.
So some soccer people were mentioning to me that, they had their league and everything, and everybody was socially distant. They wore their masks as they were supposed to. But at the same time as the soccer games were going on, so was baseball. And apparently there were several parents on the soccer league that approached Celia Norcross about why none of them had to wear their masks over at the baseball league. And they would walk through the soccer field to get to the baseball field, and they shared the same in and out areas to come into the field, but baseball was not required. My only answer, since we don't do the enforcement, which I did see one of the very first meetings where Mark Blaisdell was there, that we don't do any of that code enforcement stuff. However, something, they don't have to come to us to ask for field usage, but I still feel like it's a park and they need to be abiding by the rules as everybody else is. And when you have one whole league there wearing their masks and abiding by all the regulations, and they came and they presented so nicely in front of us, and they made sure that they did everything the right way, and you've got a whole nother league and nobody was wearing masks.
What league doesn't request usage?
The Little League, did they come to us?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like this group that was there though was.
They did fill out all the paperwork and went before the code enforcement officer, so obviously
Okay.
somebody have contacted him to.
So the group so when the baseball, I guess I have to remember, I don't think it was like Little League or anything. It was like younger kids, and it seemed like it came and went in a few weeks, but I don't remember it being like a league. So I guess, is it just a blanket, kind of like Lassie League? You do your We just asked for the Lassie League just asked for the field from March through October.
It was the organizers of the Little League that came
Oh.
forward and said, we just wanna have games, you know, for a month. And they presented all their COVID information and everything to Mark. And because they come to you as the Little League in the spring and they were approved, so they said, yes, you can use it.
Okay.
But obviously nobody followed up and checked on to see if they were in compliance.
No. And I heard it from a few people.
Yeah, see, at that point then, we should have probably called Mark.
And unfortunately, I didn't hear about it until 2 days
Yeah.
ago. So obviously, everything was done by then. So, all right. So and the, you know, the people that shared it with me, I just said that's, you know, up to the code officer. So that if they had an issue that they need to call him.
I would say it's a good point just to note, and next time they come before us, a pointed discussion. That's
I
really all
agree.
we can do, right?
Right.
Yep.
We have to trust our brains to remember that though, Jake.
I'm going to trust your brain to remember it.
You're younger than me, Jake.
You're smarter than I am, though.
Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.
So then for good to the order, Jake, do you have anything?
Yeah, is anyone going to mention anything before the end of the meeting about this is somebody's last meeting?
Yes, I was going to.
Oh, okay. Well, I will I'll
Okay.
yield my time to that.
Do you want me to mention it now? So then we'll just get it out of the way.
Sure.
Because I know she's on pins and needles over there. So Marilyn Colas, on behalf of our board, me being the newest member, oh no, because Paul's not here, I want to thank you for your years of service. I grew up with you calling my house and talking to my father. And when I realized who you were. So I've known you quite a long time, and I want to wish you well. And I want you to enjoy every minute of not having to get up if you want to or don't want to, and do whatever you want. But I really want to thank you for all your help in getting the minutes together and doing what you do and going above and beyond to make sure things are done, taking care of those DPW guys and us here at the Parks Commission.
Well, thank you very much. Mixed emotions here. I'm gonna miss you.
I know I'm gonna cry, so I'm gonna turn my
I
video.
know, it's been a pleasure. I love you all. I love working with you. So, but it's time. So thank you very much.
So
Thank you.
if Jack Garino was going to record anything in this meeting, it should be this
Yeah.
last part, Jack.
Yeah.
So I just want to say about Marilyn that when I first started with the Parks Commission, she was the go-to person and continues to be, where whenever you need something or you're not sure about anything, I mean, when you talk about getting stuff done behind the scenes, I don't think enough of our players or parents know the work she does that actually makes it happen so we can get kids on fields. Never mind the great condition and facilities we have, just making it happen. Most of it is all her. So thanks, personally, thanks for helping me out, and on behalf of all our athletes, our coaches and parents, thank you.
Oh my, thank you. I'm gonna cry. I'm glad I'm not on the camera. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. It really has. I couldn't have asked for, I just love my job, so I couldn't ask for better people to work with. Thank you.
And as long as your husband's still working, you don't mind being
Right,
home.
so I'm retiring now.
Listen, your husband's getting old because now he's getting workers' kids working for him.
I know it, it's scary.
Yeah, Abby's working now and she loves it though. She hasn't worked with Ted.
Oh,
She's
I haven't seen her there, that's cool.
Yeah. Mr. Fassel, your turn.
Well, it's hard to be the last one saying, Mayor, you did a great job. But I've already,
Mayor.
But you can speak from experience how retirement is.
yes. Well, the trouble is, it's not gonna be any easier, it's gonna be harder.
You're right.
You're gonna have more and more and more that you're gonna be done. You're gonna be missed here. Robert's gonna miss you, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Next time we have a meeting, it'll probably be me that's doing the Zoom, so.
Hey, I could attend the meeting though.
But don't be like me. I was so says, you can't be replaced, Jim. So they didn't replace me.
That's true. That's true.
I'm saying, Marilyn, we want you to have your time, but I think as a board, we should make sure we get somebody in that can do the same thing and fill in the same shoes as Marilyn did. Because without that, we're in trouble.
You'll be okay.
Yeah,
You'll be okay.
that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Marilyn, when is your last day?
Thursday.
Oh,
Thursday.
geez.
7:30.
So do we have a replacement for you?
Not yet, not yet, it's in the works.
I'm serious.
Oh, dear. Good luck, Robert.
Thank you.
So I guess Marilyn, let me know if you can't get that list together, because
I'm gonna try, I'll try, no, I'll
holy moly.
it'll be
Talk
done.
about, I know how I feel when I know I'm going on vacation in a
Yeah.
few days. I can't even imagine what you're going through, but
All the
best
time,
of luck to
I
you.
gotta get it done now.
Well, thank you for these late night meetings and thank you for your minutes and everything you've done. I appreciate it.
I'll miss you all, thank you.
Our
So I
next
guess
meeting,
next meeting is going to be January. Do we do the second Monday of the month?
yes.
January 11th.
And Cindy, we should have that meeting just to say hello to each other.
I
And,
agree.
you know, really, if we don't have anything to do, just to go over the list that we've created this fall.
I absolutely agree, Mr. Fassel. Absolutely.
Good.
And I'm fine with the Zoom meetings too.
Well, this makes it easier for people to belong.
Yeah, yeah. However, I guess one of the questions I have is what's in the bylaws for missed meetings? Because Scott missed 2 already now,
There's
since he's
no,
back.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in there.
No, okay, that's fine. We just got him back. I don't feel like having him leave again, but, okay. All right, so the
it's good that Scott volunteered to come back, even if his attendance is sporadic, because when
Yes.
he does show up, he has a lot to contribute.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Okay, so the next meeting is gonna be January 11th, 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn. Wow, we kept it under an hour. Motion to adjourn. Can I
I'll
motion?
Whoop, we turned you off.
I'll second it.
Yes,
Okay. All in favor? Yes. Okay.
Aye.
aye.
All right. I didn't get to see Jack Garino's write-up from the last couple meetings, so I don't know, how bad he got me, but I do like that he can't be in there to try to take pictures and get my bad side.
I could do a screenshot here, though.
Yeah, you can get a picture of you right there.
I'm gonna hit leave.
Yeah.
See you later.
Listen, since I'm the only one that had video on.
See you
All
later.
right. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Have a good holiday, everybody.
Thank you
Merry
too.
Christmas.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Worked out good.